Hello, this is Joel from MDC Java class, and this is my final project for the class. So I did a banking system very familiar to my C++ project from the last semester. And for example, now you're gonna have the banking system option opened. You're gonna have a password, which is a dynamic password, which is based on the current date, month, and the year. So we're gonna have our today is Thursday, 12 is the month, and 2021 is the year. It's gonna open up the main menu here, and you have 7 options. You have the 1 through 7: open account, check balance, deposit, withdraw, create check, modify profile name, and exit. They all do basically what you read them to do. So if I want to go open account, it's gonna say, there's your account number. It's gonna give you a randomized number. So the last 4 digits are randomized, and the first 8 digits are the current year, month, and date. So it's gonna ask you for full name. It's gonna say minimum of 2 words because that's the validation we set in a regular expression in the code. It's gonna do the same thing for date of birth. Let's put 12/12/2021, for example, and it's gonna enter it in because it's correct formatting. Let's say, for example, I put it incorrect formatting in the social security, so I could just put like this. So I'm gonna say, please enter a valid social security, and it's gonna show you the format again. I need to put 1, 2, 3 with the dashes correctly, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's gonna say, oh, it's correct. Initial balance. If I put in letters here, it's gonna say, please enter a valid initial balance. So let's put 1,500. Here's my balance, and it's gonna give you a summary of what you put in. This is all correct information, so I'm gonna click Y. I press enter, and it sends me back to the menu. Let's do check balance. So right here, usually you would save your account number, but since I have the files, I'm just gonna open up the file and find the account number. So if I go to my files, I go to here, I'll get the Eclipse, workspace, banking system, accounts. And the most recent one was this one right here. So I will copy it. No, sorry, it was this one right here. I'll copy it. I'll paste it here, and it's gonna say it's correct. So my account balance is 1,500, which is the correct balance that we just initially put in. I'll go back if I want to deposit something. So let's say my account number is back here. Once again, I would like to deposit 1,500. All right, it's gonna say I deposit 1,500, and my balance after the deposit is 1,300, which is correct information. Let's say I want to withdraw. I want to withdraw from this account number. I want to withdraw 1,000. So I should say I withdrew 1,000, and my balance afterwards is still 2,000. So that's good. If I go back now, I want to say let's create the check. Option 5. What account number am I using to check? For example, let's say they got into the user inputs a number that's not really an account number. So 123 123 123 is not an account number. Account number isn't found, and it'll just send you back, and you get to do the options again. So it'll say, let's go back to create an option. Let's use the correct number, and there it goes. It shows you account balance first because we don't want the user inputting a check amount over the account balance. It has to be under. So let's say I put in, for example, 2,100. Insufficient balance or check amount is 0. Please try again, and it'll send you all the way back. So I have to open the check, open the account, and let's do the correct amount now this time. We're gonna put in 100 is what we want for the check. Pay to the order of Papiche. And we're gonna put please enter a name because there's your validation. It only has to be 2 words. It has to be a name. So Joel, put Joel Cuba again. Actually, we'll put John Smith so you can see the difference. And then for what is the check, we're gonna put a foundation. Doesn't matter what you put, just has to be foundation, a word. And here it is. It's going to print it out correctly. You're going to have the check number, your account name. You're going to have the current date, the amount you put for the check, pay to the order of the name. And then here you're going to have the converted converted number to text format for the currency. You're going to have your signature, which is your initials of the name for the foundation. You're going to have a random number here. You're going to have your account number set, and then your check number here. And it's going to tell you your balance after creating the check. Press the key to go back. I press the key to go back. I can go and modify my profile name. So for you guys that saw, the profile name on my account was Joel Cuba. So let's say I want to switch it to John Smith. So I'll go there, and boom, it's switched. And then, for example, to prove it, you open the file, and you'll see John Smith is the new name of this file. All right, let's get to the code now. All right, starting off, we have our main. So here is just the dynamic password set. So you have the month, the years, and then here is the example of THU instead of being the number format. And this will give you a validation for it as well. Next would be go back into the functions. This is where all the code is at. So at first we have the current directory set. So this is where we get the file directory. So it'll give you the user directory. And then we have the account. This is very important because it opens up the file that our accounts are in. So this, we add them together, and we could use account directory throughout the project to just open up the files a lot easier. And then we initialize our scanner here, which is, these are all public in global strings. Here is our random number generated that we use for the password. So it's going to give you the, like I said, the first 8 digits are going to be the current date, so the year, month, and the date. And then it's going to give you a randomized 4 digits between 1000 and 9999. And then here is the build login that I made. It's going to give you the build menu that I made. And here is your check model. So for example, this is the check that we make. And when I go to see the check model, the model I made, you're going to see that I have 5 variables listed here. 4 of them are strings, and then 1 is a long amount. Let me fix up the formatting there. Boom, a lot better. I go back to my course, and you're going to see I have, this shows me the current date, which is to be the current date exactly. This is, the currency has to be US, and then this is the adding the decimal points to my currency. Here is the big conversion that happens when I convert the initial check amount into text. So if I go to here, you're gonna see I have the 10's names. So I have 10 to 90 because these are all unique names. And then I have these aren't unique, these are used again. These are the unique ones, 1 through 19, because these are never used unless it's literally 19 or 18, 17 example. Here's how it works. So for example, the user inputs 909 as their balance, as the check, sorry. It's gonna say, all right, that number is 909 modded by 100, and it's gonna be 9. So less than 20, yes. So it's gonna save 9 into the text, and it's gonna do the same thing for every single one. And you'll see it down here. For example, billions is gonna have your X's there set up. All right, and we go back here. We're gonna have the back to menu option. This is a function I made that will send me back throughout every option. I can just call return menu, and it'll give me the user the option to just go back to the menu. Here's the build space I made. This was made because I was having issues with the correct formatting for the check, because depending on what the user inputted, the spacing wasn't correctly, and it would break the lines. So I made it where it just gets the line, the input of the user, and then just adds a amount of spaces based off of that. And then this is the initials for the signature. So this gets the name that you get, the account name, and then it'll check if it has a space because it has to be 2 names, and then it'll put a dot between both of the initials. So you'll get, for example, like I said, JC, but with dots in between, like a correct initial. Here is the create folder and the validation for the account files. So this is the option that we have that creates the folder, that creates the initial folder for the files, and then it'll also check if the accounts are in there. Here's the account validation that we use throughout. Throughout most of the project. Account exists, and then it checks if the account is empty, and then this is where it writes the file. It opens the file. We have open account option here, so you're gonna have the open account. Account number is still here. I have to recall it here. And then it's going to first check if the account doesn't exist, right? Because we're opening an account. It has to check the account isn't already created. So it's going to do this, and it's going to give you some regular expressions inside because I had validation set for everything put in. It's first going to give you the account number, obviously, and then it's going to ask you for enter your full name, and then the regular expression is going to check for minimum of 2 words. It's going to do the same thing for every single one. Every option is going to have the regular expression, and then it's going to print you a summary right here. Most important thing I think I did during this was I did change these strings. Initially, this was a float. This was a float initially, but I would change it to a string so I can use it in this, and then I would change it back to a float right here so I can use it in the other stuff. All right, and then here's your summary, and then this is where your file is actually saved with the correct information. So here is your check balance, and this works the same way. This opens up the file, and this will check line 4 right here. Count is the line, so it'll keep running this until you get to the end of to the end of the file. So the last line that we have in the file is 4, which is the balance. So until it equals 4, it'll say what your balance is from that line. Otherwise, it'll say that count isn't found. Same thing goes for the deposit, except of saying withdraw, it'll say deposit, and instead of minus, it'll say plus. Oh, sorry, this is check balance. Sorry. So let's do deposit first. Right here we do the same thing. We go to the balance, and right here it will do the plus equals, so it'll add to the amount, and then it'll save it here. Once again, it'll change file, right here is what you did, the change file, remember here. And I have the line number, the data, and then the account number. That's 3 things we need to always put in. So when I do the deposit, it forces me to put in line 3, the account info balance, and then in the account number. It's going to work the same way. I already went over the change line here. It's going to work the same way for the withdraw. It does the same thing, except instead of deposit, it's going to say withdraw, and instead of plus, it's going to say minus. This is the create check option, which is the same exact thing as the deposit currently, but instead of it does the same thing. It'll withdraw a certain amount of money based on the amount of money you put for the check. All of this has regular expressions to check validation, so the code won't blow up based off what the user inputs if it's incorrect. Here we have the modify account option, which is what I showed you, where I could change the name on the account. This will go to read line 0, which it shows you right here. It'll check for the name and the account number, obviously, and it'll give you your new profile name that you put in, and it'll save it into the file. Here is the read option function I made, so I can use it in the switch that allows the system to read the user input. So, for example, 1 through 7, and it only allows 1 through 7 because anything other than that is not a correct option. Anything less than that is not a correct option. So this is the whole project. It did take me a little bit, and I would like to say my father did help me with some of the code, and I appreciate the help from him. And thank you for watching.